Hi, Eze.
Hello, you okay?
Nice having you now. Thanks for talking to us here. I'm Ellie from Stadium Astro.
Nice to meet you.
Let's just get to it. Okay, first thing first, it's just gonna be a random questions, yeah, so nothing too technical. So we try to make it fun. We'll see how it goes. Right, the first one, so heard you grew up in South London. Heard probably
Yes.
it was a bit of a rough neighborhood, probably. Can you share us one thing about your childhood that you probably have never shared with anyone?
Um, I've spoken a lot about where I've grown up, so I don't know if I could tell you anything new, but it obviously wasn't the nicest area. It was just quite poor. I think a lot of parents worked hard to look after their children and to raise them in tough conditions, but with my parents, they worked hard and they done all they could to help provide for us, and that's given us the opportunity to make something of ourselves. So eternally grateful to them.
I love it. So when you were, having to spend most of the time last season on the sideline, can you probably tell us like what's one new thing that you learned about yourself that you appreciate the most when you were going through the difficult time?
I think probably the resilience. Prior to having an injury, I didn't think of ever going through an injury. I never thought of that. And I always thought that if I did go through it, I wouldn't be able to cope with it because of how much I love football and I want to play football. So going through it allowed me to realise that, okay, cool, you are strong enough to deal with whatever's put in front of you, even if it's the hardest thing of not being able to play football, which I love doing so much. So yeah, probably resilience is the biggest thing.
Do you think it's one of the most favorite lessons you've learned in life so far? Definitely, yeah.
100%, because of how it just stops whatever it is that you're thinking about. You're now just focused on this injury, and it puts a pause on your life almost. That's what it feels like. But it's only then that you realise that life is more than football, and you can look at other things. It's not just about football, and that was an important lesson for me.
I love it. Okay, so imagine this scenario. It's a bad day for you and nothing turns out in your favor on the pitch on a match day. Probably you had some fights with your teammates on and off the pitch. Performance was subpar. What's the one thing you would do when you reach home that day?
Boy,
It's a bit deep, isn't it?
that's tough. I'm a bit of a thinker, so I'll probably go home and just turn off my phone, look at the ceiling, or talk to my missus, and just try to think my way through it or talk my way through it. That's how I get over stuff. I try not to be too involved on your phone and all that type of stuff, because that can, I've noticed, can make things worse. So probably just go home, try to relax, think about it, and understand that it's just one day and you can move on to the next day. The next day is coming.
As they said, right? It's a bad day, not a bad life.
Correct.
Right. So let's go back to that last weekend at Anfield. What an amazing performance. I couldn't stop thinking about your electric pass to your teammate Zaha. And was that something that you guys work on at training ground?
Um, well, naturally we link up quite well because we want to play with each other, because obviously we understand each other's qualities. So it wasn't something that we specifically worked on, but obviously I know whenever I have the ball and he's making a movement, I want to try and get the ball to him, because I know he's effective and I know that he can score for us, he can create for us. So not something we worked on, but something that is just, I guess, natural for us.
I love it. And probably maybe on that role, right? Like you've been playing as a midfielder. Um, what's the one thing you enjoy the most playing as in that position?
I enjoy just being able to get on the ball a bit more than when you're out wide. Sometimes I can feel a bit restricted or stuff like that out wide, but centrally I feel like I can get on the ball a bit more and I can affect the game in more moments, which is obviously really important for me because it's all about moments and how you're being creative, how you're being effective. So that's probably the most important thing for me.
Because you're the one setting the tempo of the game, right? So I think in that
Yeah, I
sense,
try to. Yeah. I try to.
what's the one thing that you actually genuinely and honestly appreciate the most working with Patrick Vieira?
Um, I think working with him is, you can obviously see the experiences that he's gone through, and him being able to pass them down to you and to learn from him and to learn what it was like to be him in his situation, in his life, and where he's come from. That's probably the biggest thing, being able just to have shared experiences and to understand someone better, and that can put you in good stead in your life and give you wisdom for your journey.
Does he joke around with his players though? Or he's just, that serious figure on the pitch, like, oh no, I can't joke with this guy.
At the start, I didn't know how to go about it, but you can see that he's a joker. He's a good guy, and of course he has his serious side, and he takes his job very seriously, of course. But he's human, so of course he's got another side to him.
And you appreciate that, and I'm pretty sure everyone in your team appreciates that as well. So do you believe you're quite a handful for defenders, growing up, jumping from one academy to another, from one team to another? Did your teammates or your opponents often tell you this growing up?
Not really. Not really. I think as a player, I'm a handful for opponents, but I don't know. I think me and my journey, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, but I'm just grateful to be here now and to be able to play on the biggest stage against the best players in the world, and that's my aim.
I don't know if you realize this, but actually there's this one statement about you that has been floating around on social media. So I just want to know your thoughts on it. So it says, Premier League isn't ready for fully fit, fully firing version of Eze. Do you agree with this statement? I know, I think you just can't wait to start a season properly because you haven't gotten that chance so much last season. So what about it?
For sure, I think this is, of course, the start of the season, and I've come back from a big injury last season. I played towards the end of last season. I was getting back into the swing of things, and right now I feel free and I feel ready, and I feel like this is an opportunity for me to play and enjoy myself. And what that means for opponents, I don't know, but I just know I want to enjoy myself. I want to have fun. I want to express myself and be effective. So wherever that takes me, that takes me.
Whatever that you just shared just reflected in every single performance you have shown us so far. So that's exciting. Moving on, Arsenal Academy, Fulham, Reading, Millwall, QPR. Which one of these clubs has shaped your football personality on the pitch the most? Playing style, anything.
So obviously being at Arsenal from young, you're getting training at a big club with great coaches, and you're learning the fundamentals of football. So that was definitely important for me. But then after that, I would probably say QPR, because that gave me the belief that I needed to have in order to become a professional football player. And that's given me the confidence that I have in myself now. So when I play freely because of a lot of the experiences that I had at QPR and the people that were around me, what I was taught there, and it was a good time for me because I was able just to express myself and to feel really free playing football. And yeah, I'm just very, very grateful to them.
I know you are very well loved by QPR. I know that preseason you just had to score against them, and the way, the social media, I think it's really nice to see an old club embracing their, ex-player in that way, because we don't really get to see that a lot, to be honest. Now, moving on to a bit more random question. I know you shared in one of your interviews on YouTube, like you were a bit confused between sushi or jollof rice, your, go-to meal.
Which was my
Like, which one would you rather eat? I get it. It's your, like you got to go back home for that. But really, like sushi or fried chicken, if I were to put these two food on your table, which one would you rather eat
boy.
every day for the rest of your life? Or would you mix
The
them?
rest of my life. I got a mix. You can't have one. You can't have one. But I don't know what I prefer. I do like sushi and I like fried chicken, so I don't think I could choose now.
I love it though. I love fried chicken myself, so I know exactly how you feel. Are you okay now? Did you follow women's football recently? Did you see how the whole country embrace and glorify the glory of the women's team, right? And are you excited to see women's football scene growing everywhere in all parts of the world, especially after England's women's team huge success in Euro?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like they've made it impossible to be ignored, and you can see what they're doing, and it's only going to get bigger now. And I feel like it's hugely positive, the fact that it's more inclusive and allowing people more opportunities to do something that they want to do. And I think that's probably the most important thing.
Understood. Okay, one last question before we wrap it up. In a parallel universe, would you rather have Patrick Vieira as your teammate in your squad, or would you rather go against him?
Would I rather go against him?
Or just having him as your opponent then? You know what? I want to go against this guy.
I speak about this to him in training. I say that I reckon I'd be able to. I would have a good performance against him if he was on the other team, but probably I think I'd prefer to have him on my team.
I love it. That's nice, Eze. Thank you so much for talking to us. Nice chatting with you. Hope to catch you around one of these days. See you.
Thank
have
you
a
very
good
much.
luck this coming week.
Thank you.